Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast for your Wednesday night here. We're back with the ANZCAR Thunder Series. We're in at the tail end of practice. And I'm joined again by Carl Withy. Carl, good evening.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the fun quad oval here. Relatively high banking that's just going to get higher next year. They're going to have a re-profile of this track, so we'll see that come the 2022 season. So this may be the last time we see this track in this configuration.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how quickly iRacing jump onto that and get things updated. American company, of course. So hopefully able to get that done relatively quickly. We'll see a new version of this on iRacing late next year, or probably more likely early 2023. 2023, my goodness me, I can't believe we're already almost there, but we're getting close. So anyway, we're back here tonight with the Thunder Series. And Carl, they've finally got points update happened, so we might do a quick rundown of that. We've got 5 and just under 6 minutes to go until we get into qualifying here. So let's have a look at how the championship stand.
Yeah, so championship standings have come up to date with 8 rounds of 12 complete. So Hamish Gallagher is in the lead with 327 points. He's 39 points ahead of Ruben Phelps in second. You have Josh Micklemore in third position. He is 62 points behind the leader. Fourth place is Cade Donnelly, 69 points down. Then we jump to Brenton West, who is 80 points off the lead in fifth. Norman Clark in sixth, 81 points off the lead. Then we have joint seventh place with Hobson and Raymond, both on 90 points down from the leaders. Next up is Matt Hunter, 92 off the lead in ninth. And 10th place is Troy Davidson, 93 off the lead. So it's quite close in the sort of at the back end of the championship. And Ruben Phelps is getting closer up the top as well. So he's going to hope for a good night tonight. Of course, they're pretty sure we're going to have a drop round in there somewhere, so that's going to make things a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it'll change the points up. We've got a couple of people missing tonight from the list, unable to run, as we just see there. JCW get a little bit loose up near the wall, but we've got plenty of strength in the field here. Michael Skurlock banks it back this week. He's currently sitting second. Brenton Hobson, who has had a little bit of a command of this series since joining it, currently fastest lap on the track of a 31.46, so just slightly quicker than Michael Skurlock. Of course, we saw Hobbo have that brilliant race last week at Road America, where he took out the win, and he'll be looking to do a little bit more of that again here tonight at Atlanta, I should say. I was about to say at Road Atlanta again, but at Atlanta, the slightly different variant of Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different. There's a few left right-hand turns. Yeah,
there's no bridges to go under. It's just one or two differences.
Yeah, that's it. Just a couple of small minor tweaks there. But a relatively good field tonight. This should be a pretty good race. We've got 22 cars out there at the moment, so that should make things a little bit interesting. This is always a bit of a tricky track. The quad oval itself can sometimes throw you off. It's a slightly different track to run on as well. They're a little bit shorter, being 2.5 kilometers. So one of the smaller tracks on the calendar as well. But quite a fun track to run on, but it is very tricky, so I expect to see a few people struggling out there. It is quite hot out there as well. We seem to say this every week. It seems to be the American summer at the moment almost, doesn't it? But it's 41 degrees Celsius on the track at the moment, 28 degrees air temperature, so it's pretty warm out there tonight, and that hot track temperature is going to hurt those rear tyres, especially on the exit of turn number 3 and turn number 4. It's going to start to give out on the back of those cars, and they're going to really struggle for grip.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you say, that couple of guys just testing the coefficient of friction of the rubber on their trucks there. Scully just ducking down there with the My Little Pony livery on the 350. He's just gone fastest by 1/100, so there's going to be nothing in it during qualifying, and looking forward to getting stuck into the race here. And green flag running, of course, last week at Road America, I should say, with no caution periods during that race because of the type of race that it was, of course. But we did have a green to green in the truck race on Monday night.
We did indeed. We've seen a few green flag, long green flag stints and green to green races of late, which is just amazing stuff from these drivers because it is so hard to do on these ovals. It's very easy to overdo it, to overwork the car, and all of a sudden find yourself spearing off into a wall. So going green to green is very much a very good thing to do indeed.
Let's see, Scotty Rankin jumping in behind the wheel tonight, out of the comm booth and into the fire in the 156. So he's currently sitting in 6th position, if you don't mind, doing a good job in the 156 mobile. So he'll be looking to get a good qualifying run and have a good run here tonight. And we've got a couple of new faces, or one new face, I should say. Matty Carleone jumping in from Oz Pro Am Sim Series fame, and he hopefully is going to have a run tonight, just sorting out his livery before we get into qualifying.
Yeah, hopefully everything can get fixed up for him. It'd be nice to see him actually get a good run. He set some good pace in the practice laps. It's good to see Scotty Rankin practicing safe driving as well with that car.
Yeah, just saw the move there as well, but yeah, certainly practicing safe driving. But no, we love it. It's good to see him out there and having a crack. I think he's running in the 8 hour this weekend as well as part of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. They've got an 8 hour event on at Spa in practice for the 24 hour that's on in a couple of weeks. So he's got a busy schedule ahead of him, Scotty. Always out and about. So glad to see him running in the ANZCAR Thunder Series. Of course, the last time we saw him out was in the trucks. So a little bit of a change up for him here. And we'll see how he gets on.
Yeah, a slightly different car, of course, to the trucks. A little bit more weight over the rear with these things. They're all pretty similar, but they do have their different handling characteristics, of course. If you're new to NASCAR sort of areas, the Xfinity car is sort of one of the feeder car series. It's like sort of the slightly more junior rank. The cars have a little bit less power. They have a lot less downforce, though. So that's the big changer, is they have a lot less downforce than the Cup cars, and bit less power, things like that. So it makes it quite interesting for the racing. So we're going to head into qualifying here for the Xfinity Thunder Series here on FGM eCast, and we'll wait to see who comes out first.
Yeah, it's always the trick. So it looks like Lachlan Capel is our driver of the night. Great view here from the box behind the pit lane there. But we're going to jump on board with the 018 of Lachlan Capel. Of course, he also runs in the Oz Pro Am Sim Series. So there's a few drivers jumping across here. It's good to see. He's got the M&M livery on that one. And Carl will get him revved up and get you to jump on board with him and take us for a lap.
Yeah, very much nice to see some drivers heading over. So we're going to head here on to the front stretch, or the little bit of a dog leg here. It is it's a quad oval here, so a little bit of a jump. Coming into turn one proper. Easing off the accelerator, just get the car turned in nicely. You'll see drivers, there's going to be two different lines, a slightly higher line and that lower line. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. Just takes a nice exit there, gets a little bit loose on turn number 2. Coming into turn number 3, comes in for that slightly higher line, gets the car turned in, gets the apex in just right there, Capel, and is going to get on the power. You just got to be careful here not to get on the power too soon, because the back tyres will start to spin up very, very quickly, and you will have a nasty night. Getting across the line, that puts him up into P1 for the moment, as he's coming on to his second lap now. And he'll try and go a little bit quicker. Sometimes on this kind of track, you can get a little bit more speed on that second lap. He takes a little bit closer to the wall this time, taking a little bit more risk this lap as well, a little bit more settled through this final corner as well. Doesn't have to correct it quite as much. That rear is looking a little bit more stable. He's going to come across the line shortly. He's going to try and cut across the dogleg section to make a slightly less run to the flag. And he sets a 31.538. So he keeps up there in first place at the moment.
Yeah, heads out with an even better lap there. So good run there from Lachlan Capel. Welcome to ANZCAR, and good run there as well. Looks like Lachlan Urquio's gone just thousandths slower than him, and currently sitting in second place. Got Troy Davison provisionally in third as Brenton Hobson jumps in with a 31.45 to go to the top of the charts. Hamish Gallagher follows suit in the Taylor Swift mobile, if you don't mind. He is currently sitting in second place with a 31.5. So some good pace out there so far. We've got a few runners who have not yet taken to the course. One of those is Michael Skurlock. We've got Ruben Phelps as well, and Maddie Ray. So a couple of front runners there. not out on the track yet.
Yeah, a few people waiting, hoping for maybe a qualifying cloud to come over. And what we mean by that is a little bit of cloud cover coming over the track, reducing the track temperature a little bit. Gives you a little bit of a better run sometimes. So sometimes it's good to sit in there. There are quite a few clouds in the air, of course, and it is a dynamic weather system in iRacing. So you do get the clouds coming over occasionally, and it does change the track conditions.
Tell you what a lap. Ben Vickers just chucks the 77 onto provisional pole with a 31.45, just matching Brenton Hobson. Great work there from Ben Vickers to get the Juice Digital 77 entry to the top of the charts. We've still got a little while to go here, only just on a minute and a half. But Michael Skurlock's out on track at the moment, as is Stephen Williams, current Truck Series champion. So he'll be looking to do something in the DPR simrigs.com 98 entry. We'll stick with him for a bit. Perry Anastakis has just finished. He's ended up in P13. So it's between Skurlock and Williams at the moment. Noddy Tompkins on track. Matty Hunter's done one lap at 32.88. He's coming around to finish out his second lap as well. Looks like Ruben Phelps not going to set a time. Matty Ray and Matty Carleone as well, not setting times at this stage.
Yeah, really good lap there from Vickers. We've seen some great pace from Vickers this season. We actually saw a good lap from him in the trucks on Monday night as well. Good qualifying pace. Just couldn't quite keep the long run pace, the race pace going. So hopefully tonight we'll see a little bit better long run pace from Ben, and hopefully see a nice finish there, because that is one heck of a good lap there. So Noddy Tompkins getting into 21st position, a little bit off the pace, but still running there and still getting the experience that is often needed. Michael Skurlock running up into P4 there with a good lap, so that's going to be good for Skirley. He's going to be pretty happy with that one. I'm probably expecting to see Matty Raymond stay in the pit lane, and he's going to try and start from pit lane and probably join up with his teammate Tompkins, and they'll run together a little bit, try and help each other, get a little bit of experience for Tompkins there and help each other out with that one. So it's going to be an interesting race here for sure. But let's run through the starting order for tonight's race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway on FGM eCast for Wednesday Night Thunder, the Xfinity Series here on ANZCAR. Front row is Ben Vickers and Hobson. Second is Williams and Skurlock. Third row we have Donnelly and Gallagher. Fourth is Capel and Urquio, the two Lauchlands. Fifth row is Rankin and Davidson. Sixth is Wellman and Finley. Seventh we have Clark and Hunter. Eighth is Patton and Anastakis. JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Josh Micklemore on the ninth row. 10th is Tompkins and Phelps, and then Matty Ray and possibly Carleone at the back, but I'm not sure if Carleone might take a start, unfortunately, due to some unfortunate paint issues.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out for Matty for next week and get him out and in the field. So just waiting for the drivers to grid up here for the pace lap before we get cracking. What should be a good race. Let's jump out here and have a look at the field as it forms up.
So pop into existence there. It's going to be a good one. It's been nice to see Hobson having a good race again. He made his Cup debut last week as well and had a great run, running up to P2. Just getting beaten out by Andrew Dyson at the end, but he made a great impression in his Cup debut, so very nice job from him. But Ben Vickers is going to take the pole position. I think that might be Ben's first pole position in ANZCAR as well from memory. So really nice job there in the Juice Digital car. Fantastic livery as well on the front row.
So we're off and rolling here. Ben Vickers, I'm not sure that I've seen him take pole position and take a start, so certainly for me, his first pole position and a good runaway here he's going to need to get with Brenton Hobson, Michael Skurlock and Stevie Williams around him, Kate Donnelly, of course, Hamish Gallagher. There's plenty of pace at the front of this field, so he's going to be certainly squeezing, pun intended, everything out of the 77 tonight to keep that one up the front. We are doing 97 laps here tonight, so it's going to test the drivers. It's there's going to be not much of a break either, so just get it done.
You're going to see some two-wide action here as well, as you can run those two lines quite well here at Atlanta. good old Hotlanta Motor Speedway can be quite fun in that respect. Probably going to be looking at 2 stops, I'd say, if we run green all the way to the end. So look out for that one. What are people going to do strategy-wise? Because tyre drop-off can be quite an important one here, so the undercut can pay off a little bit. But we have seen cautions can be a big importance. So pace car is going to peel in, and Ben Vickers is going to effectively become the pace car, become the race leader, as we're going to go green here at Atlanta. He gets a good start, gets a bit of wheel spin, but gets away cleanly. Nice start from Ben Vickers. Hobson gets caught a little bit napping. Stephen Williams is going to get underneath him here. Stephen Williams is going to try and get up to the second place. Look for Michael Skurlock there, going 3 wide for a moment. He's holding it, he's keeping in the middle, drops down to the bottom line. Watch Hamish Gallagher as well. Gallagher on a bit of a charge on the back of Hobson too.
Yeah, what a great start that you can see coming back down the straight with 2 wide, 3 wide in instances. And Ben Vickers just going to the high line there. He's got Hobbo behind him, so that's not necessarily a bad thing if Hobbo's up there. And you've got the 98 of Stephen Williams taking that line as well. Skurlock and Williams 2 by 2 they come as they go across the line for the completion of lap 1 into lap 2. And there is the field just spreading out nicely here, which is what we want to see. But look at here, as you said, there's good battle forming here with Gallagher just jumping onto the back of the lead pack, and you've got Capel, Urquio and Gary Wellman, who's driven very well of late as well, just in that pack. Scotty Rankin up on the high line, and you've also got Christopher Finlay and Troy Davison. So this is a good battle pack joining up here, as on the back of Stevie Dubb is Ben Vickers trying to make himself back a position or 2, but Michael Skurlock is in the lead of this race.
Good start there again, just using a little bit of experience. Kay Donnelly just getting a little bit sideways up towards Hobson there in the background. You can see those two fighting side by side. Hobson on the outside, Donnelly on the inside at the moment in the Simboys car with the fantastic Stingray looking dog logo on the front. I must admit I'm a fan of that one. But having a good run again for Kay Donnelly. He's been showing some good speed and good pace over the last few races with a lot of his teammates actually. One of the big things here is whether you run the high or low line. The high line can be a little bit easier on the tyres. Can just reduce the wear a little bit, but you do run the risk of running into the barrier. It's much easier to run wide. You have to lift off a little bit sometimes, and you do have that problem sometimes running up a little bit high and just clipping the barrier. The low line is a little bit more aggressive on the tyres, can be a little bit quicker for the first few laps, but it can mean your tyres drop off a little bit quicker.
Yeah, these guys will be very aware of that. As you say, the heat as well is going to play a factor here tonight, as we're already into lap 5 of 97. Very smooth sailing to start off with here. Unfortunately, Matty Carlian not taking the grid as you suggested, Carl. But hopefully see him out next week. As we said, there's some good battles going on. We'll jump right back to the back of the pack here. We've got Norm Clark, Ruben Phelps and Toddy Tompkins, I was about to say, but Noddy Tompkins even. This is the battle here for 18th, 19th and 20th. Matty Ray trying to join onto the back of this pack as well. There he is. So good close fighting right throughout the field at the moment. Let's have a look at Wellman, Davison, JCW as well as Urquio in this one here. They're trying to jump back up onto the back of Lachlan Capel. So we've got a bit of a chain here, which is what we want to see. That was me saying a mixture of chain and train together. So if you picked that up, well done. If you didn't, then let's move along. But it's Wednesday night on FGME Cast, and things can get a little wild midweek. We're trying our best, so stick with us. Lachlan Capel doing a good job here. I'm pretty sure, Carl, it is his debut, isn't it?
It is indeed. First time out for Capel in the series. He's got the OL Lachlan on his back at the moment. It's the battle of Lockies, but Gary Wellman is trying to get in on this one. Watch out for JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden. He's working his way up the field. 6 positions gained so far. It's just ahead of Christopher Finlay at the moment. Troy Davidson in front of him, so that battle is coming along. Good start from JCW. He's going to want to try and keep going with this one. Skurlock has got a bit of a lead over Stevie Dunn. Ben Vickers has managed to keep 3rd position, but Kate Donnelly, Hamish Gallagher and Hobson are all coming up for him. And then there's a bit of a gap to Lachlan Capel, who's doing a good job just defending that line at the moment from Urquio. He's trying to keep there and keep in the position. Not sure how much experience Capel has on the oval stuff, but we know he is quick on the road circuits.
Yeah, most definitely be an education potentially here for him in ANZCAR. He's doing a great job so far in 7th, where he qualified, and very quick as well during the practice. So let's see how well he can make the tyres on the 018 M&M entry last, as Ben Vickers equally doing a good job. Our pole sitter currently just running in third. He's got Cade Donnelly and Hamish Gallagher fighting behind him. Oh, I think Stevie Dubb. Oh, there he is. Sorry, I meant to say Cade Donnelly up into the wall there. Just got a little loose and couldn't quite grab it again, and he's ended up just into the wall. So there's damage to the right-hand front corner of the 40.
Yeah, look what happened there. He was going up high on Hamish Gallagher. Gallagher was just holding his position. The side draft caught Donnelly out a little bit. He ran up wide. As I said, it's a bit of a risk taking that high line sometimes, and he caught the risk. He managed to save the car, though. Good driving from Donnelly to keep that going in a straight line and not completely wreck it. But unfortunate for him, he was having a very good run, was running very fast.
I think at the same time, I was about to mention that Stephen Williams might have got a little loose as well. Oh, wow, as Ben Vickers gets right up on him there as well. Just manages to control it, no touch between them. It looked like Stevie Dubb might have either got just up into the wall there or had to pull out, looking like he was pushing because he came back to Steve Williams. Steve Williams came back to Ben Vickers in a hell of a hurry. Vickers there just having to pull out a little bit as well, just to make sure he didn't end up in a collision with Stevie Dubb. That's given Hamish Gallagher a good run down the inside of him. And there he is, that man, Brenton Hobson, trying to go with him as well. So Hobbo now down the inside, and Vickers just left out a little bit, unfortunately, high and dry. He's going to lose a couple of spots here after that close call with Stephen Williams on that high line.
Yeah, Stevie Dubb just catching the wall, similar to Cade Donnelly in all honesty there, but it was a little bit more self-fulfilling prophecy, that one. He was just running that high line, just made a slight contact. Didn't cost him much, but you can see there the damage on that right front at the moment. So quite a bit of bodywork damage there, and that's going to cost him. Ben Vickers is running that high line very much so, and I think he might have just caught the wall, but very, very slightly as well. So he's going to start dropping back. Meanwhile, Lachlan Urquio is making a move on Capel at the moment. Urquio going down the inside of Capel, getting the move done. Capel having a little bit of damage on his right front as well, so he's picked up a little bit of a dent somewhere along the line, and I think that's what helped Urquio make the move. Capel just tagging the wall slightly, giving Urquio the opportunity to get past.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now on board with Troy Davison, who's closed up and is now underneath Joshua Carroll Walden. This huge pack behind him as well. You can see them there. Scotty Rankin up against the wall, got Finlay down underneath him, and they're fighting. That's for position 11 and 12. They're wanting to stick with this pack. Starting to break up a little bit here now. You can see that Capel and Wellman fighting, but Urquio's made his way up onto the back of Ben Vickers. He's now with that lead pack. In fact, that group has fallen away as well. So Urquio is probably going to get by Vickers reasonably quickly if he can. It looks like he's actually just had a little blink there and dropped out of the series, back in again. But Urquio there is going to want to try and get past Vickers and jump onto the back of Stevie Dubb as soon as he can, as Stevie Dubb and Brenton Hobson now making moves up back towards the back of Hamish Gallagher and Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, Vickers is just running that high line at the moment. He had to lift out a little bit when Lockie blinked, and that was a bit of a close moment for both of those drivers. But he's running that high line at the moment. He's just struggling a little bit mid-corner. He's just having to lift out a little tiny bit as he's just getting a little bit of understeer. That car's getting a bit tight mid-corner at the moment. So he's starting to struggle a little bit. It's Scotty Rankin just tagging the wall there as well in front of Josh Micklemore and Troy Davidson. There's a little bit of a check-up there with Anastakis in the middle of the sandwich for a moment there. Those four cars getting very close to each other now, though.
Yeah, have a look at the run. Unusual to see Josh Micklemore that far down the field as well. He's got a lot of work to do, and he'll be doing it. Trying to make his way past Troy Davison. Going to go three wide again here, are we? No, they're still just get into line there. Davison slots up behind Scotty Rankin in that high line. You can see there Pariana Stakis in the 144 entry ducks down behind Josh Micklemore to go with him now. He chooses the high line as well. So Micklemore running by himself on that low line in the Mitch Motorsport 31 entry. That won't bother him too much. If he's got the pace, he'll make his way through here underneath the 023 entry. And he is going to get that done on Troy Davison. He's just in front here. He'll cut down the low line. Scotty Rankin is the next on his list as Pariana Stakis looks to go with him.
Meanwhile, up the front, there's been a change of position. Hobson has got past Gallagher. Just a nice, sweet move from Hobson, getting past Hamish Gallagher, getting up another position. It's sort of stayed the same past that, though. The main battle is a little bit further back with people like JCW at the moment. JCW getting past Lachlan Capel. Now Scotty Rankin on the back of the M&M's machine. So the battles are getting close, and the field past, well, up from Stephen Williams back is pretty much nose to tail. There is nothing between those guys. Skurlock has absolutely gotten a great lead of 1.5 seconds. He's absolutely fiddling his way to the front at the moment. Great job from Michael Skurlock.
As we jump on board with the chopper here, you can see exactly what you're talking about there with this gravy train that's just making its way through there. Lachlan Capel, my apologies, Lachlan Urquio just ducking underneath the 77 of Ben Vickers now. He's trying to go with Stevie Williams. There's work to do there. You can see Gary Wellman now back up behind him. Joshua Carroll-Walden in his own air at the moment, but it won't be too long before he gets up underneath as Gary Wellman there. Looks like he's putting the pressure on Ben Vickers. He goes down underneath him. He's going to look like he's going to get that done through turn 2. Not quite.
Vickers will get a better run out at the corner on that high line, so he'll get a better straight line speed, but Wellman will have better mid-corner speed, so he's got to try and get that move done mid-corner and slide up in front of Vickers, but Vickers will have the drive off the corner, so it's always a hard thing to overtake here at Atlanta.
So as you say there, Michael Skurlock checked out at the moment, 1.3 seconds to the good. He's got Brenton Hobson, who is now the man chasing him down, and Hamish Gallagher is back inside the top 3 in the Mitch Motorsport 13 entry. So doing a good job there. Gallagher up 3, Skurlock up 3 positions as well. Brenton Hobson just makes his way back up into second place, maybe potentially managing tyres a little bit here. Unusual to see Hobbo not run off at the start, so but he has made his way back up to the front. He's lapping in good time at the moment with our race leaders, and behind us we're seeing Lachlan Urquio now putting the pressure on Stevie Dubb. Ben Vickers not too far off the back of this pack. Lap time suggests he's just sticking with them at the moment as well, so that's good from Vickers. And that is Wellman, Carroll Walden and Capel, who can see just a little bit further back there, are in a train.
Yeah, JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden there in the Atari Autosport car, the 35. Up 9 positions so far. Josh Micklemore just a couple of positions back. He's up 8 positions at the moment, so we've got some big movers in the field, and they've had to do a lot of work to get up there because, as I said, Atlanta is a track that it's not impossible to overtake on, but it can be tricky sometimes. You just got to make those moves and make them decisively. So those guys doing a great job at the moment. Scotty Rankin just dropping back a little bit. Looks like he's made a little bit of a mistake. Just had a little bit of a moment there, and he's just dropped back a couple of positions, I think. So he's dropped back behind Anastakis.
Noddy Tompkins jumping into pit lane. First of our stoppers here for just a scheduled stop, I believe. And he's come in on lap 23.
Yeah, possibly a little early. 23 laps, of course. You'll probably want to come in on around about lap 30 to 32, I would say. But I think we might see a few people now try for the undercut. So we might see a few people just coming in a little bit earlier, as it seems to be running green, just to see if they can gain a bit of an advantage later in this race with those slightly fresher tyres, of course. They are limited to 4 sets, so they do have to be a little bit careful. You can't just jump in and slap a new set of tyres on every lap, so you do have to be a little bit careful there.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly do. You can't just run wild. Go rogue on the tyre set, so they'll be managing that. And of course it comes down now to that little bit of a gamble. Do we come in under green, or do we keep trying to manage as long as we can to make sure that we get through on a caution if one does come out? So see what happens here. Expect a few more laps out of Skurlock, Hobbo, Gallagher as well. Skurley, of course, leading this one basically from the start. So he will be trying to span it out as long as he can.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to keep out there as long as possible. Hobson is catching, though. Hobson has taken out about a second of that lead, so Hobson is definitely flying a little bit now. We'll see the difference from fresh tyres now as Tompkins comes out of pit lane. So we'll see that difference that those fresh tyres are going to start making as well. He's just come out behind Hobson, so you'll see the speed advantage of those fresh tyres over slightly older tyres. But he is 3 laps down, so he's dropped a few positions, but he will be a bit quicker than the leaders. So we can see exactly what is going to happen, and the drivers will be looking at that and thinking about that as well. If they've got anybody watching the race with them, they'll keep an eye on this as well and see what fresh tyres are going to work out for. Meanwhile, Stephen Williams has got Lachlan Urquio all over the back of him. So Stevie Dubb doing a great job defending in the DPR car at the moment over Lachlan Urquio in the Australia and New Zealand Combined Racing League entry, but both of them having a good little battle. Saw Scotty Rankin have a little bit of a moment with Anastakis before. He went into the back of Anastakis as Anastakis had a little bit of a moment, just had to check up a little bit, and a bit of damage on the front of the Trojan Magnum car there. Not what you want to have on the top of one of those.
No, definitely not. Just saw there in the background Matty Ray getting a little bit loose in the Mr. Sheen entry. Matty Ray, lovingly called Mr. Sheen because he generally returns the car in the condition it left the showroom. So the 83 there, still nice and clean. He is making progress, slow and steady as he always does. He's up 7 positions so far, so don't be too surprised to see him up towards the pointy end of the race if his strategy gets right. Admitted on Tuesday night, unfortunately, that the strategy didn't quite play out for him as he'd hoped. He was hoping that the man with the little yellow flag would come out and wave it furiously, and that would help him out. But sometimes the strategy call just not quite getting there. Still ran a good race nonetheless. So that's the 83 there. Matty Ray just currently up into 13th. He's putting a little bit of pressure onto the back of Parry. Anastakis currently running in 12th.
Up at the front, Skurlock is being hassled by Hobson. Hobson has obviously been saving a little bit for this section of the race. He's not been pushing as hard at the beginning of the race, but now he's started to switch it on. He's setting some nice fast lap times. He's about a 10th faster than Skurley as well. And you can see Noddy Tompkins right on the back of these guys on those fresh tyres, just able to keep up with the leaders on that fresh set of boots. But he's just keeping back there watching this battle, not really pressuring them to get his lap back at the moment, because these guys are starting to have a bit of a battle for the lead. And you can see Skurlock trying to take that slightly higher line at the moment. That back end is starting to step out for Skurley. Those rear tyres are starting to scream for help, and he's starting to struggle on the exit of the corner, and that's where Hobson's making up all that speed on the exit of the turns. He's able to make a little bit more speed, able to get a little bit more speed down the straights, and then catch up to Skurlock, and he will soon be past him.
They're at lap 31 here. Is the strategy played from Skurlock to pull in, get new tyres, and then run?
I would probably say stick it out as long as you can, just in case that caution comes in. Keep an eye out around you. He's got a big enough gap over somebody like Gallagher where he can sort of keep an eye on the rest of the field, see when they come in, see what's happening with that group, and then make the decision from there. Because, of course, if you pit early, get those fresh tyres now, and see Hobson just decide to go on a one-stop, you're going to lose an awful lot of time in pit lane, and you might not get that back.
Yeah, of course, we have seen...
And Stephen Williams has come in pit lane. So Stevie Dubb has decided to pull that trigger. He's the first of that lead pack to go, no, I'm going to try this. I'm going to risk the slightly shorter stop and go for that slightly smaller stint and see how this goes. So I think we're going to see a glut of cars coming in now, and this might be the thing that basically triggers Skurlock to come in probably about 2 or 3 laps when everybody's made their pit stop, just in case somebody makes a mistake and the caution flag falls.
Yeah, which is obviously something that we've seen before. I was going to say as well, we've seen some extraordinary fuel conservation acts throughout the season so far across the ANZCAR world, and the one stopper comes to mind. So, but I think Andrew Dyson pulled out at was it Charlotte?
The DPR boys were all pretty much trying that single stop strategy, and Dyson made it work by the skin of his teeth.
So you never know here, you've got to manage what you've got. So Hobbo though out into the lead of this race. Matty Hunter's jumped into pit lane, as has Ben Vickers. So they're the next two to get their service done, or their first service of tonight. They probably won't make it to the end from here. In fact, we're pretty sure they won't. So let's see how that plays out for them. As you saw that lap differential, Matty Hunter will be hoping to take some advantage from that, as will Ben Vickers. Stephen Williams most certainly.
And so you can see a little bit more pace from them as the caution's come out. The caution has come out.
There it is. Who's that? It's caused that. Into pit lane, perhaps, from Matty Hunter, is it?
It was somebody up on the track. I think it might have been Scotty Rankin, I think. So Scotty Rankin has had a moment. You can see a lot of damage on that car. It's crabbing. So he's coming down the back straight, and all of a sudden there's been a checkup in front of him. He's caught the back of Troy Davidson and then not been able to catch the car, and then around and round he goes. Scotty Rankin has had a big accident there. That's going to be pretty much the end of his night.
Yeah, wretched luck there for Scotty Rankin, but yeah, that car there pretty badly damaged as he's struggling to keep it straight there. So that has brought out that caution. That will give our race leaders everything they ever wanted on a Wednesday night, which is a caution that allowed them to pit under under caution conditions, of course.
Big winner from this is going to be Matt Hunter. I think he just got out at the right time, and I think he stayed on the lead lap. So we might see Hunter work his way a little bit up the field. We'll see how that one actually pans out.
I was going to say, he's on lap 35 and we're on lap 36, so whether or not he's going to get the lucky dog. I just saw Ben Vickers as well. He is just in front, so these guys should catch up. Just see how this plays out.
Yeah, he just was shy a little bit, unfortunately. So that's hurt him a little bit there. But everybody that came into the pit lane for that stop under green, so Stevie Dubb, Matt Hunter, Noddy Tompkins, that's going to hurt them quite a bit.
Yeah, they're going to end up on the back of the pack, aren't they? So
Hobson is fuel saving a little bit here. If we jump on board, and you'll hear perfect silence from that car.
That peace and quiet that you normally get from a thumping great big V8.
Exactly. That very well-known silence of a V8. He just puts his foot down and then just going to cruise up to the back of the pace car here, just ease off again, switch the engine off. Hobson is thinking, I've got a chance of making it to the end from here. I think he's going to try and go as long as possible in this stint, so Hobbo is trying for something different. So, interesting little strategy from him that's absolutely been ruined by us commentators. Because we've called it on the stream and everybody else will go, that's what Hobson's going to be doing then. So he's trying to save a little bit of extra fuel right here. So he'll just accelerate, switch the engine off, just cruise around, switch the engine back on when he needs to. So yeah, interesting little strategy from Hobson.
Yeah, Skirley here doing a different version of the same thing. So he's spending the millilitres, but only barely spending the millilitres, so he'll be trying to fuel save as much as he can as well. But of course Hobbo there just start turning things off. Well, not turning them off, but running with the clutch in anyhow. You can hear it again there, he's still doing it. So just coasting.
He's completely turned the engine off on that one. It's not even clutching it. It is off. So a dangerous thing to do in full metal racing, of course, because sometimes the engines don't like to switch themselves back on. Luckily, in sim racing, they usually turn themselves back on unless you have a serious problem. But this is going to be an interesting one. What's Hobson going to do? Is he hoping for a nice long green period here where he can just stick it out to the end, go fuel save like a boss and take it to the line? Skurlock is going to have the advantage because he's going to be going a little bit harder, I think. But Skurlock's probably going to be sitting up beside Hobson, listening to that car and working out what Hobson's doing. So he's going to be going, okay, you're fuel saving then. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what strategy is going to pay off here. So it's going to be an interesting battle towards the end now. Going to have 59 laps remaining. Will anybody be brave enough to try and make it to the end from here?
Surely second stop, fresh tyres is the way to go, but obviously Hobbo's not going to have to take on as much fuel if he can save. So that'll make his second stop quicker. Obviously the option doing the Parianastakis and just taking the right hand side tyres, which proved effective for him a couple of weeks ago, is another alternative too. So plenty of options to play out here in the balance of this race. Of course, if there is another caution later on, all that we've spoken about goes out the window as the whole train comes in and they race to the end. But we will see what happens here. We're about to go green flag racing. And it will be Brenton Hobson to take us away. Michael Skurlock next to him. It's got Gallagher, Urquio, Mickelmore, Wellman, JCW, Matty Raymond. We still to watch out for him. Parianastakis, Detroit Davison is your top 10 as we get back underway here. Hobbo takes that higher line. It's got Taylor Swift down below him. The 13 of Hamish Gallagher, who's going to get the good drive out of the corner there, and he takes off into the lead and takes Josh Mickelmore with him. That's more like it from Mickelmore. That's where we expect to see him up the front. He's benefited very well from that pit stop and has made his way back up into P2 now. Hobbo with that high line he took earlier on as well. at the start of this race suggests he's just going to manage the tyres a little bit here. There's no need to lead at lap 39. It's all about lap 30 at 97. And Michael Skurlock there sitting behind him. Lachlan Urquhart looking pacey as well as JCW gets down underneath him. Oh, it's just get a little check up there from Skurlock. JCW just getting down below the apron, but not to any great effect, which is good as we get through here and keep things going.
Yeah, Hobson might be looked at post-race. A bit of a lane change before the line there for Hobson, so he might get a bit of a slap on the wrist for that one, and a little bit of telling off because you've got to keep in the lane until you cross the start-finish line. So keep an eye out for that one. But Skurlock getting underneath and getting through there. But this has been a godsend for Gallagher and Micklemore. Micklemore doing a great stop. He was absolutely flying in that pit stop and managed to gain a whole heap of positions in pit lane. So really good stop from Josh Micklemore and a really good way of working up through the field as well. It's up 16 positions at the moment. Really nice drive from Micklemore, but this is going to be really useful for Gallagher. Because this is going to help his championship hopes out for sure. His nearest rival is a fair bit down the field in 16th position at the moment in Ruben Phelps.
And just to say that, Matty Hunter gets underneath Ruben Phelps and moves up into 16th position. He's currently chasing down Norman Clark. And this is the battle. You can see there's 5 now involved. And this is the battle for P15 between Clark, Hunter, Phelps and Scotty Rankin.
This is one of my favourite things about oval racing, stock car racing and things like that. Generally American racing is because it does not stop no matter how far down the field you go. They race just as hard at the back of the pack as they do at the front of the pack. Speaking at the front of the pack, JCW is trying to make a move on Skurley at the moment. JCW up high, he's going to get a good run off the corner. He chops down in front of Skurlock. He's going to want to try and get onto the back of Josh Micklemore now and work his way up so those Mitch cars can't run away with it.
Been a long time between drinks for JCW. Be looking for a win here tonight. He's in a good position in the Natari Autosport 35 entry at this point in the race. Just able to sit there and manage if he wants to behind Gallagher and Micklemore. So missing his partner in crime tonight with Edward Foster not running. He's got Norman Clark out on track as well. So he's going to be fighting these Mitch boys if he's going to do anything about it. Maybe he can work with Michael Skurlock. Maybe not. Time will tell. Lap 44 of 97 complete.
JCW is just going to be going hard at the moment, not thinking about working with anybody. I know JCW is just going to be wanting to go fast and quick. It's something that he had to do for many years. He was a privateer for many years in the series as well, so having a team behind him is very helpful, but he has got those years of experience as a solo runner. Same with Hamish Gallagher, you've got to say. Before he joined Mitch Motorsport, he was very much a solo runner for many a year and found his way into Mitch Motorsport and settled in very well there, winning quite a few races with that team, which is understandable. Mitch Motorsport, one of the strong teams in the sport, so good job from them up the front. The battles are still going on through the field at the moment. There's a bit of a move of Matty Raymond getting underneath Troy Davidson at the moment. He's trying to get up towards Anastakis, who just chops down in front of him at this second. But Raymond is trying to work his way up from 21st on the grid. He's doing another good run from the back of the field and working his way up the pack, keeping that car as clean as you can. And Mr. Sheen doing another great job.
And Perry and Anastakis benefited from it. We've got Brenton Hobson now down in 7th position. So plenty of management going on here from Hobbo, one would suspect. He's down a little bit on pace. 32.3 last time, around 31.85 his fastest so far, so definitely a little bit of management going on there. He is falling back into the clutches of Perry Anastakis and the train behind him, so he won't want to leave too much of a gap between himself and Urquhart. Those tyres will plateau and it'll be a little harder for him to catch up back onto the lead pack here, so see how he goes, hoping potentially for another caution period. As we jump back here to my apologies to Josh Micklemore and Joshua Carroll Walden, as JCW continues to harass the back of the Mitch Motorsport 31 entry. They're trying to make it difficult for us, Carl, Josh and Joshua, just to keep us on our toes. Michael Skurlock now just dropping back a little too. That's 3/10 between Carroll Walden and Skurlock for 3rd position. So Carroll Walden here trying to apply the screws to the 31 of Micklemore, maybe get him to make a mistake. Try and get a good run off the higher line where he can and move up into 2nd place.
Yeah, trying to make that move. Meanwhile, Matty Ray is trying to make the move on Anastakis at the moment. He's side by side with Troy Davidson. He was side by side with Anastakis just then. Hobson just in front of them as well. So I think Hobson is going to be praying for no cautions now. He's going to want this race to go as long as possible because he's trying to get to the end on a single tank, I would say, or trying to go as long as possible on a single tank. So it's going to be an interesting strategy call from him. We'll see how that one plays out. Troy Davidson, and Christopher Finlay doing a good job up in front of Matty Ray as it stands. They're keeping their positions and they are making sure to put the pressure on him at the moment, just shuffling him back a little bit down towards Nigel Patton, who's having a good race there in 12th position.
They're going to expect there that Hobbo's driving to a number, and that's what he's rolling the dice on so that he makes it to the end on fuel. So let's see how he fares with that. The others will have to get a good distance on him if they're going to do anything about it, or they're going to have to be a lot quicker, obviously, on fresher rubber at the end of the race.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is how much time can you gain on those fresh tyres. The thing is that the tyre advantage is not that huge, in all honesty, from what we saw. They were dropping down a fair bit, it's a couple of seconds here and there, but on a track like this, you're going to lose a lot more time in pit lane than you are on the track. If you can sort of keep it out, you might be good for the end. So he's definitely rolling the dice here a little bit, trying something different. We've seen this in the past and we've seen it work out very well, and then we've seen heartbreak come from it as well. So you never know how these things are going to go.
No, you don't know until you try, that's for sure. So still though, Hamish Gallagher with his teammate Josh Mickelmore behind him. Joshua Carroll-Warden's just dropped off a little bit now into the clutches of Michael Skurlock, who's 2/10 behind him in the 350 entry. So Skurlock now trying to apply the pressure a little bit as there's Wellman and Urquio behind them going side by side. They got really close there. There was almost paint traded. Can't see any white or damage on the side of the 45 there, so could drive in between Urquio and Wellman just to keep their distance. But these two fighting it out for positions 5 and 6, and they're not far off there as Urquio moves up in front of Wellman from JCW and Michael Skurlock as well. So this battle for third place is developing.
Yeah, really close there. You could fit a cigarette paper between those two cars and there wouldn't be much room, in all honesty. But Urquio managing to hold the throttle and hold it down there next to Wellman, get that position. Wellman tried for the crisscross, the up and under, couldn't quite make it work that time round, so he's going to sit back, just relax, refresh and regroup, and then probably have another attack on Urquio. But they are on the back of Skurley at the moment, but the main one to watch out for at the moment is going to be Skurley and Carroll Walden. Carroll Walden has got up in front of Skurley. He is up there in third position, and Skurlock is all over the back of Carroll Walden, so that battle is very much looking pretty racy at the moment. You've still got Matty Raymond back there battling with some of the Sim Boys cars. He's down on the inside of Troy Davidson at the moment. They're running side by side as they come across the quad oval's front straight. Matty Ray's going to have that inside line. He's going to hold that position, push Troy Davidson a little bit higher. Davidson will get a little bit of a better run off the corner, but Matty Ray has managed to stick it under there and get that position. He's going to chase back to Anastakis and try and overtake him once more.
Yeah, Anastakis putting the pressure on Hobson still, so those two just running together at the moment. Lap times very, very similar indeed between them, so maybe Parry's thinking here, if I stick here, I'm in for a good shot as well. He did pit on the same lap as Hobson, so, it's Parry ran a really good race. He's very good at managing his race to get himself inside the top 10, so he's probably thinking here that he's got a shot if he sticks with Hobbo.
Yeah, he's looking at the options as Skurlock is making a move up for P3 at the moment. He's trying down the inside of JCW. JCW is just up on that slightly high line, just loses a little bit of grip in the side draft and is going to lose a little bit of pace on the straight. That's going to give Skurlock the opportunity coming down towards turn number 1. Will Skurlock get the position? Looks like he's going to manage it. JCW is going to try and hold that high line, get a better drive off the corner, try and get back in front of Skurley, but I don't think it's going to work.
No, and that's not the worst thing as Urquio gets real loose behind them there. You just see him moving around a little bit, and Gary Wellman was probably as aware as he needed to be about it. Looked like he started taking preventative action just in case it all turned pear-shaped for Lockie.
I imagine Gary Wellman would be standing like a cat at the moment on all fours, just back, hackles up, everything like that. All his fur will be standing up on air when you see something like that in front of you, because you think, oh, this is going to be a big crash. But Lockie, to his credit, did a great save there, just kept it going straight. Oh, JCW getting a bit of tank slapper there. He again getting that back end stepping out. Looks like the rears are really dropping off at the moment for the guys that are pushing it. They're struggling a little bit. The track temperature is going down. It's 37 degrees now, so it's not as hot as it was at the start of the race. But Atlanta is known for punishing those rears a little bit, and it looks like a few people may have put a little bit too much of a run through them and now starting to struggle a little bit. Person that is now coming alive is Brenton Hobson. Surprise, surprise. Hobbo is now just working his way up. He's just got past Gary Wellman. And his next target is going to be Lachlan. Okay, as you see Wellman there just getting that back end stepping out as well. But it looks like Hobson has just been running that car very gently, just keep treating those tyres like they were his own. And he is just kept a little bit more life in them than some of the other drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Fastest man on the track last time around by 2/10, if you don't mind, which is huge in the position that we're in, with all the guys having run 25 laps on the current set of tyres. So big margin to pull there, as you can see. Josh Micklemore has Michael Skurlock all over the back of him. So this is second place. Skurlock equally just running a little faster than Micklemore in front of him last time around. So this story developing for P2 as out
Hobson,
the front, Hamish Gallagher's checked out.
Hobson getting past Urquio now. Hobson running up the field. Like we saw last time, Hobson was a little bit quiet at the start of the race. He was just sitting back a little bit, just trailing along, and then all of a sudden he goes, nope, it's time to use these tyres, it's time to go, and he's pressed that button. He's one of the fastest drivers on the track at the moment. The only driver that's a little bit faster is Noddy Tompkin, who has come in for some fresh boots. But with drivers on the older tyres, then you have got Hobson as the fastest. He's managed to keep a little bit more life in those boots. Anastakis now putting a bit of pressure on to Gary Wellman. He's trying to try and get the battle of the green cars going. Who will it be? The absolutely bright fluorescent green of Anastakis, or the very calming green of Gary Wellman, and then you have the middle ground, the bright yellow of Matty Raymond behind him.
And it looks like what you'd imagine a frog in a blender would look like. So we've got the three of them here battling away, and this is for 7th, 8th and 9th. And Anastakis there just losing a little bit of ground to Wellman, and coming right into the clutches of Matty Ray, who's going to get the job done underneath Anastakis here. He may even get the daily double here this lap. Just moves up behind Gary Wellman in the 45. Anastakis all over the back of him with a good run. It's just in the background there you see Christopher Finlay just get up into the wall in the 104 entry, so that's going to lose him some pace. He'll probably drop a couple of positions. He's got Lachlan Capel around him. But here we are with Matty Raymond as he tries to get the move done down underneath Gary Wellman. It's a drag race here between them. And in that low section of the corner, just very well for Matty Ray. Wellman will get a good run out of the corner here, but it's not going to be good enough, and you'd expect to see Matty Ray take that position as well. Move himself up into 7th place now, 14 positions gained in the race. Only one driver who's done more, and that is this man on screen now, which is Josh Micklemore.
Yeah, 16 positions for Josh Micklemore, but he's now under trouble from Skurlock. Meanwhile, just behind, Hobson is now putting pressure on JCW. They are side by side as they cross the line. JCW's dropped behind Hobson across the line by absolutely nothing. There was zero, like absolutely nothing between those two cars. But Hobson is going to try for now. He gets a bit of rear tail happy there. The back end's just stepping out, so he's starting to get a little bit loose on that rear now as he's starting to push the car. But he's managing his pace quite well. He's going to get underneath JCW again. JCW is going to keep that high line, keep battling it out with Hobson, who is going to get the better run off the corner here. Should be JCW on that high line getting a little bit better run, but I think Hobson's tyres are holding on better, so he's getting better traction at the moment. So Hobson doing a good job of protecting those tyres for this latter stage of the race. Hobson able just to take that lower line and keep that car going a little bit quicker down there.
Yeah, it looked like Hamish Gallagher might have made a small mistake as well in the last lap or so, because he's dropped right back into the clutches of Josh Micklemore Of course, there was a good strong gap there between the two. That's now down to less than 4/10 as the Hobson 54 checks out on Joshua Carroll Walden. So this battle up at the front here has closed right up. Could have been some lap traffic slowing him down, of course, as well as it starts to reopen. You just see there Josh Mickelmore and Michael Skurlock making their way underneath Cade Donnelly. But and the battle at the front here is closed up too, so Skurlock with plenty of pressure now on the back of Josh Mickelmore, and equally Mickelmore and Skurlock have caught up onto the back of Gallagher. They'll want to run because Hobbo is on his way. He was a tenth quicker than all three of them on the last lap around. So that gap that he's got there of 8/10 between himself and Michael Skurlock will disappear in a few laps.
I'll tell you what's happening with Gallagher. He was easing off. He's lifting and coasting a bit more through the corners. That's why he's dropped off a lot of time. He's been clutching it around the corners quite a bit. He's been watching that car for a while, and he has been fuel saving a fair bit. Lachlan Urquio has decided to come into pit lane, so he's pulled the trigger now with 30 laps to go. Come in, get some fresh tyres, and try and run it to the end. Who's going to try and stay out? Who's going to try for a long run here? I've got to say, I think it's going to be Hobson and Gallagher going to try and run to the end, or try and run as long as they possibly can on this set of tyres and this fuel load. Meanwhile, I think everybody else is probably going to have to come into pit lane for one more service.
So we're now looking at the back. Hamish Gallagher's entry to 13. We'll hear whether or not he is fuel saving. Carl's spot on. Actually, Carl, thanks for going back and checking that out. So we'll be able to listen for that and look back as well at Mickelmore and Skurlock as they try to close the gap. You can see just off behind Michael Skurlock that tinge of blue that is ascending on the back of our third place Michael Skurlock, and that is Brenton Hobson. He is on his way as well, so this is going to close up a lot out the front here. Who has the wherewithal, the tyres, the fuel to run for the remainder of this race? We've got 26 laps to go this time around. Just here, Hamish Gallagher there get a little loose as he jumped off the gas. Skurlock gets a good run now down on the inside of Josh Mickelmore. You're getting to see it here live out of the back of the Gallagher 13 entry. Skurlock looks like he's going to get that job done. Just grabs a little of the apron there, and it's slowed him down somewhat. So Mickelmore with that high line gets a good run out of the corner, moves back up into second place and secures that for another lap from Michael Skurlock. This battle here is helping. Absolutely is helping the cause of this man. This is out of the back of Michael Skurlock's car. You can see Brenton Hobson closing right up on the back of him now as well.
Yeah, look, they're side by side at the moment, Skurlock and Mickelmore as well. They are going through the corners. Gallagher again is just on the clutch mid-corner. He's just letting that car drift through the corner, saving as much fuel as possible. Hobson is caught up to these guys. They're going to try and... Hobson, I think, might even look at going 3 wide, possibly. He's getting right up to the middle of these two cars. The Skurlock and Mickelmore are side by side through this race. This is going to help Hobson out, though. He's going to catch up to them. He's going to choose the low line. He's got that little bit more grip on those slightly less worn tyres. You can see he gets a little bit sideways out the corner. Mickelmore's going to drop back a couple of positions here. He's going to drop back behind Skurlock, behind Hobson now. Skurlock getting P2, Hobson up into P3, Mickelmore dropping down to P4 as it stands.
And both of them catching up onto the back of Hamish Gallagher, so you've got to make a choice here. 25 to go. Is there enough time to pit? Get yourself sorted out. Gallagher there goes real high, trying to defend, trying to get the better run out of the corner. I don't think it's going to help him, is it? Skurlock and him drag racing. Hobbo's gone with him into that high line. He's still got the advantage, has Hamish Gallagher. So he once again goes that high line in the 13. A little bit easier on those tyres. But Skurlock here's got another good run. He's going to get the job done this time around. He might even take Hobbo with him. Gallagher potentially here going to drop 2 places as we've got 24 to go at Atlanta in the ANZCAR Thunder Series, and it is indeed, that's what's happened. You can see there, Lachlan Urquio on new tyres as well. He's behind Hobbo. He wants to run and go. He's going to get that lap back, and he'll try and start to make things up for himself as well.
Yeah, so you can see the difference in time on those fresh tyres from Urquio at the moment. He's in the 31s, while everybody else is 33s, but Gallagher is absolutely fuel saving. He is clutching it mid-corner. He is absolutely lifting off the throttle. That's why he dropped back so quickly. So he's trying to go nice and long here. He's trying a little bit of a different strategy from that of Hobson, who was saving in the mid-pack, saving a little bit further back. Skurlock, meanwhile, is is doing a little bit of fuel saving, but not quite as much as the rest of them. I think Skurlock is hoping for a caution to come out. I don't think Skirley's going to make it to the end on this tank. I think Gallagher, Hobson, possibly Micklemore think they can do it. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight, that's for sure.
As we jump on here now with Joshua Carroll-Walden and Matty Raymond now battling away. This is for position 5 as Josh Micklemore goes past Hamish Gallagher. We'll jump back up to that in a moment. So Gallagher now down into 4th position. Micklemore up into 3rd. You can see they're just on the bottom of the screen. But Matty Raymond's got a good run here on JCW. JCW is going to take the high line. He'll get a better run out of the corner. It's pulled quite low actually. So we'll see how this fares out. You can see there for Matty Raymond. This is working in his favour. They're going to do the drag race. They'll cut down over the tri-oval section there of the track. We'll see how it comes out here for Matty Ray down through turn 1. He's going to get the job done here, I think, even with that high line. Just got better drive out of the corners. Oh, as there's contact between the two, and you can see there as well in the background that you've got Kate Donnelly there just trying to stay out of things. That's affected Matty Raymond. JCW just keeping that position there as well in 5th, so 5th and 6th here. Kate Donnelly some down a lap or 2, so but on fresher tyres, trying to make his way through.
Yeah, Donnelly's got a lot more speed at the moment, just on those fresh tyres, which it's sort of that thing of there is no problem racing for those positions because you can get those laps back. You're going to help yourself at the end of the day. So Donnelly is definitely trying it. Meanwhile, Skirley at the front is very much lifting off mid-corner. He's letting that car breathe. Same for Hobson at the moment as well. So these guys are just absolutely fuel saving like mad. But I think Hobson has probably got a little bit more fuel than the rest of them. You're going to see Hobson probably coming down the inside here from this view. You can see it just there. Hobson's on the inside of Skirley at the moment. Skirley is putting a little bit more speed back in the car. Can't quite make it work. They get very close there. Skirley up right against the wall, but keeps it off the barrier. Most importantly, Hobson on that inside line though. Both of them are just lifting off mid-corner to let that car breathe a little bit, just keep a little bit more fuel in it, but Hobson is going to get that move done, I'd say. Hobson is going to get the lead of this race as they drive as slow as possible, but as quick as possible as well. The strange moment in motorsport where you're driving as slow as possible, but trying to keep it as quick as possible, the joy of fuel saving.
So the ultimate compromise, going as fast as you can without spending any of your fuel.
Very much so. This battle at the front is going to be really interesting. Skurlock is defending a lot, and I've got to say, I think Skurlock might be struggling a little bit more for fuel towards the end of this race. We've got 17 to go, so we are getting to the very much to the end of this race, but I think Skurlock's going to probably be a little bit more fuel sensitive than Hobson. I think that early fuel saving from Hobson has been a godsend for him and is really helping him out. But Skurlock, we know, is a crafty old veteran as well, so we'll see how that one goes. There is a gaggle of cars that have come out on fresh tyres as well that are meanwhile passing people in 5th and 6th, so Matty Raymond and JCW at the moment are in a bit of a battle for themselves, but they have got many cars coming through with them too. The two Mitch cars of Micklemore and Gallagher are sort of sitting in their own little spot at the moment, just running their own race for the time being. As there is a change at the front, Hobson getting through, getting past, getting up in front of Skirley and getting the lead of this race.
Yeah, Skurlock, not much he could do about it there. You've also got Kate Donnelly on that high line. Hobber just using that to his advantage. And that has affected Skurlock's run there, so he's dropped off already 3/10 off the back of Brenton Hobson, who now leads this race. Got 15 to go. And he is in the ascendancy. Josh Micklemore and Hamish Gallagher currently sitting in 3rd and 4th, just managing their race. Matty Ray and JCW, as you mentioned before, Carl, still fighting. And it looks like Matty Ray has got the move done. Oh, he's got into the wall there as he was trying to get around JCW. It's let JCW back into it again. So another change for position 5 here. JCW done the hard work. Steve Williams coming through on much fresher tyres to move himself up out of the lapped position on those two as well. So this battle continues. This is for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, Matty Ray getting a little bit unlucky there. Christopher Finley unlapping himself, and it just caused a little bit of the side draft to come up to Matty Ray, just disturbed the car a little bit. And up into the wall he went, but he's going to try again on JCW. He gets down on the inside this time of Joshua Carrot-Walden, and he's going to try and hold that position. Matty Ray's car is looking a little bit worse for wear tonight, a little bit of damage on it. JCW, meanwhile, has got a very pristine-looking car, so he's doing a very good job of keeping that car nice and clean. Matty Ray, on the other hand, a little bit more damage than we're used to seeing for himself. But they're both running at some fairly good pace at the moment, but it's whether they can keep the fuel in there. That's going to be the big question. We've got 12 laps remaining. How much fuel have they saved? How much fuel can they save? Can they get to the end? It's not over by a long shot. We have a lot of this race to go, and as it stands, if all of these guys have to come into pit lane, it's going to be good for Lachlan Urquio at the moment. So keep an eye on this race. It is not over by a long shot.
We're just on board here with Brenton Hobson just to see what he's doing fuel-wise, see how much he's trying to save in the lead of the race. They last pitted, basically, as you say, with the exception of down to Lachlan Urquio, so our top 10 cars at the moment all pitted on lap 35. Big question is, will they make it to the end? Everyone beyond that will certainly not have to stop again, as we've got 12 to go here. In fact, we're about to have 11 to go as Hobbo heads across the start-finish line to start the last 11 laps of the race.
Yeah, there'll be furious mathematical work going on inside of those helmets. They will be working out everything as they drive around at 200 plus kilometers per hour, passing each other by absolutely nothing, side by side racing, and they're still doing maths to work out if they can make it to the end and working out what their fuel numbers is. That's one of the talents and skills of sim racing that is very, very tricky to get used to, having to do all of that maths yourself, because these guys don't have race engineers or crew chiefs or anything like that help you out in any realistic sense. You sometimes have a few AI components that can help you out a little bit, but they're not always 100% accurate. Meanwhile, JCW's fallen back into the grasp of Ruben Phelps. Ruben Phelps on a charge now. Looks like he's been saving up a little bit of pace now. He's worked his way up into P6 and is currently chasing his way up through the field in that Crank Esports car.
Yeah, he's been the silent assassin tonight. Phelps, you haven't seen him do much, but all of a sudden at the pointy end of the race he's popped up into P6, and you'd expect as well, if he has been saving, that he is going to close down Matty Ray in front of him and potentially get up onto the back of Hamish Gallagher, depending on what happens. There's a 9 to go. It's a little bit of a long ask, but certainly on for a top 5 here, Phelpsy.
Yeah, he's good run so far tonight. He started way at the back of the field as well, so up 14 positions. Quite a few big movers in the field. Josh Mickelmore 15 positions gained, Matty Ray 16 positions gained, Ruben Phelps 14 positions gained, JCW Joshua Carrot-Walden 9 positions gained, the same as Parry Anastakis there, as Parry Anastakis just gets past him. So Lachlan Capel now making a move on JCW. I think JCW has gone into emergency fuel save mode because he is dropping pace like nothing else. I think he has gone, I'm going to be very tight towards the end of this race. I need to save fuel 100%. So I think he's gone into emergency fuel save mode. I wouldn't be surprised to see him have to make a splash and dash in about 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, it's going to affect the outcome of his race, unfortunately, but Brenton Hobson just getting unlapped, or so I should say. But Stephen Williams just ducking by him to take a lap back. And then you've got Nigel Patton on his way through as well. So Hobbo definitely trying to do what he can do to get to the end of this one. Of course, people driving by him at the moment on much, much fresher rubber to the effect of around about 37 laps.
Of course, they have something that these guys don't, and that is fuel. These cars are going to be running on fumes towards the end of this race, so they are not going to be able to run quite as hard. Not only because their tyres are going to be like very, very chewed up chewing gum, but because they are running on absolute vapours at the moment. So much so, I'm just watching Skurlock. He is just coasting around the corners, just almost switching the engine off as he goes around. Very much these guys are in maximum fuel save mode. The only car that seems to be a little bit less concerned is Hobson.
Yeah, as you say there, we jump on board with Skurlock and he's doing exactly that, just on the clutch, just getting the thing to coast its way around. And that's actually a difficult skill. It sounds easy, you just push the clutch in and coast, but unloads the diff and makes these cars not want to turn as much as well. So it's not the simplest thing to do, and it's a change of routine. Of course, a lot of the skill in being fast is muscle memory. Just that little bit of an alternative that you've got to do. So, he's got to keep his wits about him while he does that if he's going to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, Skurlock's actually switching the engine off completely by the sounds of it, and from the looking on board, he's completely switching the engine off just mid-corner where you're going to lose less speed, dropping the clutch in and then putting it back on the exit of the corner. So he's just switching the engine off as he comes into the corner, waiting till he's about mid-corner and then switching it back on. And as you said, you've got to be really careful doing that because the car gets unloaded. You get a little bit of a different differential. A switch of the differential. The car gets loose and you can have a lot of trouble with that. Meanwhile, Ruben Phelps is right on the back of Matty Ray, same as Lachlan Capel. Lachlan Capel is absolutely flying at the moment. Capel all over the back and side to side with Ruben Phelps. Matty Raymond's having to fuel save quite a lot right here as well. Lachlan Capel is getting a good run here. He's going to try and switch underneath Matty Ray here and get that position, work his way up into P5. So this battle is very much on for these positions right now. Capel seems to have a little bit more pace, probably saved a little bit more fuel there as well. He's able to run it a little bit better towards the end.
And Josh Mickelmore coming into the clutches as well. Don't be too surprised if Lachlan Capel makes his way up onto the podium here. He's got a really, really good one. We're going to stick with this one for a minute. It's pretty settled at the front. Hobson looks like he's going to get this one done if he doesn't run out of fuel. It's just underneath there. You can see Lachlan Capel just goes blasting by. Just chucks a couple of peanut M&Ms out the window and says, thanks very much. I'm on my way to P3 if you don't mind. I've got a Gallagher to chase down. And you've got to say, with that speed difference there, Josh Mickelmore likely to run potentially out of fuel. He's dropping down the order quickly as Joshua Carroll-Warden jumps into pit lane. He's not going to make it to the end of this race. And Hamish Gallagher, I reckon, is in the gun sights here for Lachlan Capel.
That's who has saved that fuel, who's feeling brave to the end of this race. We could see some absolute heartbreaks from a few drivers as they get towards the finishing line, and that fuel does absolutely run out. We're getting the white flag now, though. Hobson is on his very last lap, so he's coming around for the final time. Hobson looks to have done it here. Won't jinx it too much, but he seems to have engine sound. He seems to have power, and he seems to have worked that out perfectly under the pace car. Hobson saving that fuel absolutely beautifully. Great job from Brenton Hobson to take out the victory here at Atlanta. Michael Skurlock is very much on the clutch. Meanwhile, Capel has got past Gallagher. Will Skurlock have enough fuel to get to the finish line? He's very much out. He's drifting. Capel's going to get him across the finish line for P2. He just misses out. Skurlock crawls across the line with no fuel whatsoever, taking P2. Capel there, almost getting P2, managing P3 at the end. What a finish.
Wow, what a drive from Lachlan Capel. Just making his way up the order. Ruben Phelps, not shabby from him either, dropping into P5. Matty Raymond end up in P6 as well. Both those drivers up 15 positions, if you don't mind. And what a run from them. Josh Mickelmore finishing in 9th. In 10th position, I should say, and I dare say he might have been running out of fuel towards the end of the race. He's parked it just around the corner, but taking nothing away from Hobbo. Sorry, Hobbo, we missed your burnout, mate. Keep it going, get us revved up there. Another win for you in the Thunder Series, as you just really gently touches the wall there, like there's going to be some sort of penalty for the damage. But just respecting the paintwork too much on the 54. Another fantastic win from him.
But showing that he had a bit more fuel left in the tank towards the end there, just absolutely showing off that he had a little bit more fuel left. Michael Skurlock absolutely ran out. Lachlan Capel, great fuel save from him. Great debut as well, getting up to P3. Hamish Gallagher just managed to get it back home in P4. Ruben Phelps, really good fuel saving from him, up into 5th position. Matty Ray as well, 6th position. Both of those drivers gaining 15 positions, biggest gains of the night. Parry Anastakis in 7th position. Another big gainer with 9 positions. Norman Clark finished in 8th position. Lachlan Urquio, the first of the 2 stoppers, managed to get 9th at the end as Josh Mickelmore ran out of fuel and gave up that position, falling down to P10 at the end of that race. Troy Davidson finished in 11th, with 12th for Gary Wellman. Matt Hunter 13th, Nigel Patton 14th. 15th was Christopher Finlay, with Ben Vickers in 16th position, 17th for Stephen Williams. Joshua Carroll-Walden 18th, just couldn't get that fuel to the end. Craig Donnelly in 19th position, Noddy Tompkins 20th, and 21st for Scotty Rankin.
Well, what a race. Another good finish here on ANZCAR. Basically, the Xfinity Series, it was bringing them. It's been quite a good run from the series so far, and tonight no difference whatsoever. Single stop strategy from a number of the drivers paying out. Skirley just getting home in front of Lachlan Capel. A fantastic debut from him. Bring him into the booth, Carl, and get you to put the drivers through their paces in the interview, I think.
We'll go and round up all of those drivers, which is always the fun part. A little bit like herding cats sometimes, but I think we have them coming up into the booth. So we'll start with the third place finisher on his debut in the ANZCAR series, making a debut on the tracks that go left and not right for a change. Lachlan Capel, congratulations on P3.
Yeah, look, that was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better introduction. I've been doing a lot of hosteds and officials over the couple of weeks to prepare for this, and I'm amazed how the strategy played out right at the end, and I managed on luck and the pure amount of strategy to grab that P3.
A really good result from you. We saw you coming up towards the end of the race there and working your car up from a good qualifying position as well. Just a nice qualifying performance, but keeping good pace throughout the race and just saving that fuel towards the end was obviously key there. How much did you have left in the tank?
According to my caps overlay, I had 0.5.
Oh, you had plenty then. You had too much fuel. You didn't push it out.
I was over the mid stint, so around lap 60, lap 70, I was really I noticed that the pack in front of me was pulling away off the first restart off the caution, and I knew I was falling back, but I knew it wouldn't really make a difference too much if I just had that fuel save, because I heard a lot of people say that they really couldn't make it on fuel the entire way, and I just managed to, by luck and fuel saving properly, by full clutching in on the entire caution lap.
You did really well towards the end there. Obviously, been practicing, you said, with some officials and some hosteds. It's nice to see you out here in the ANZCAR series and debut. How did you find the racing out there tonight?
It's very, very nice, very a lot more calm and collected compared to the official races. I've always enjoyed a lot of NASCAR and I've really loved it. My dad was a huge Marcus Ambrose fan, and I've been following NASCAR for a bit, and you can obviously tell by my paint scheme that I follow Kyle Busch a lot. So I really love NASCAR, and I've just been able to get a bit into it and a little bit more, and I hit 2.1 KI rating today, and I really was just able to use all that talent that I've got that I don't have in road to push into oval. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with the result. It was almost like a fairy tale ending, but yeah, can't wait to see what's next in this series.
Congratulations, a really good job on that fuel saving to get both. To get Gallagher at the end there and almost get Skurlock. Just a couple more meters and Skurlock could have been gotten there. That was so close to the end. You fiddled across the line, Skurly.
The Welsh fiddler just fiddling away.
Look, before I let you go, we have the shout out and love to sponsors. Who would you like to give a bit of a shout out to tonight?
I'd just like to shout out Computer Technology Corporation, and for my dad for being able to help me out through my sim racing career of the last 6 months or so, and really help me push and get good. And also I'd like to thank the two owners of Oz Pro-Am, so Matt Cardo and Sam, for just really helping me become a better racer, as well as Scott Rankin for really helping me do the enduros and just improving my driving skills by a lot.
Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in the future. A brilliant debut. You can't ask much more than that one.
No, I can't. Thanks very much.
So, jumping up to the Welsh wonder, the Rainbow Dasher himself, the Welsh fiddler, Mr. Michael Skurlock, P2 for yourself, cutting it a little bit closer, by the skin of your teeth, getting there in P2.
Yeah, thank you. It's not the Welsh. It's not meant to be the Welsh fiddler. That's why it's meant to be the Welsh nibbler. But Dave was being naughty and put that in there the other day.
Skirley, reminds me, mate, of at the start of Rocky 3 when Apollo Creed fights the Russian in the demonstration thing, and they introduce him with 15 nicknames, mate. That's where you're headed, I think, with ANZCAR.
A lot of these are self-proclaimed nicknames as well, to be honest.
Doesn't matter. We don't know where they come from. We love them all the same.
Yeah, no, that was a good race, man. That was a bit of a masterclass from Brenton there, to be honest. In the first stint, I just got a bit excited too early. And I could tell he was sitting back, just can't, because if you wear these tyres off early, you got nothing after a while. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job, but he came from way back and passed me. So the second time I was like, all right, I'm going to copy what he did, and I just settled back. But I didn't realise that there was a fuel issue, you know what I mean? I thought there was no way we were going to make it in fuel, so I didn't even think of that part, where obviously he was thinking of tyres and fuel at the start, and then he just drove past, mate, and then I was looking and I went, uh-oh, I'm not going to have enough fuel here. And then I looked and obviously everyone else was struggling too, and I was just rolling around the clutch the whole bloody time, eh? It's going so slow at the end there.
Yeah, we noticed the old clutch going in and the engine getting very, very quiet towards the end there, switching down, just coming into the corners a fair bit there. How much of a struggle was that to sort of get into that rhythm when you have to really start clutching it and start just easing off so much?
Oh, it's horrible, man. But because everyone else was doing it, I was looking at the relative and it was like, oh, yeah, well, obviously everyone else is struggling too, so it wasn't killing me that bad, but I did leave it too late. Yeah, obviously Brenton's got a bit of experience in everything because I've been doing this for years and I didn't even think of doing that earlier. I don't even check that stuff normally, to be honest. I'm just holding on, mate, winging it, monkey driving.
Well, it paid off for you kind of tonight because you got P2, which is a solid finish, starting from P4 as well. And we saw, you had some good battles up the front, side by side with Brenton for a fair few laps there. How enjoyable was the actual racing parts for you?
Oh, it's good, but I mean, once you're there, if someone can catch you up like that, it's over, mate. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time. So, one time I did try and just sit on his outside and slow him down, but I'm not normally like that. I just let him go and then sit behind and try to keep up. But obviously my tyres weren't good enough. But it's got to be a bit smarter the way I drive, to be honest. Because it is good fun. It's just frustrating when you do it wrong, and then you get shown up like that, to be honest.
Yeah, the strategy calls, they're the trickiest bits. I was talking a bit through the race. You have to do it all in your head as well while you're driving at 200 plus kilometres per hour, side by side with other drivers, trying to do all the maths as well. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, especially when you've had a blue chew as well.
Congratulations.
Only old people know what that is.
Yeah, we all feel our age now. Thanks, Curly. Congratulations on the P2, mate. Before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors and people in general.
Yeah, just shout out to the Bandits. None of them showed up tonight. That's good of them. Nice and lazy. You guys putting it on. I always enjoy going back. I heard the old Welsh fiddler getting put into the stream the other day. I had a little laugh. Yeah, ANZCAR, and just congrats to Brenton and good on that attitude on young Lachlan there. That's awesome, mate. You're gonna have more people like that. That livened me up. That did.
Good to hear, and great finish there. Absolutely, just crossing the line, just millimeters ahead there. Just you managed that fuel pretty much perfectly. You got to say to get.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. I was lucky, but yeah.
Yeah, great job, great finish for yourself, and I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth soon. Thank you, Michael Skerlock.
Thank you, boys. Papa.
Next up, we will jump to the race winner, the fuel-saving king, Mr. Brenton Hobson. Congratulations on that win, mate, and you could see that you were thinking about that fuel saving as soon as you came out of pit lane.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I was on it. I knew my mileage in that first run would have put me to 58, 59 laps, something like that on a full stint. We had 63 or something there when we come off the pit lane. So I knew we'd be a bit short. So I had it shut off under yellow and saved every little bit that I could. And then it's a hard game to play. I mean, you're right. I was right at the front, and you're trying to not use your fuel up and get out of the way, but not get run over, and try and take it easy. And that's normally the way it is on the tyres. I mean, tyres were a bigger concern for me than fuel. Ultimately, I was worried about hurting them. I've been trying to learn how this all works, and it seems like I'm using up my right front tyres a bit on the oval stuff. So I was worried about that tonight. Tyre wear was going to be a big thing. And the thing I'm probably happiest about the most is that I figured out how to drive the cars and I was loose when everyone else was tight. And it meant that I could be fast on the long run. So, I was happy with that. And then ultimately the fuel save helped me look after the tyres as well. So, shout out to some of the guys that were behind me early on there, like Parry and stuff like that. They were probably quicker and wanting to go faster, but didn't run me over while I was, saving and stuff. So that was fortunate, and we were close enough to the front, late in the race to be able to push on and not worry about the fuel. And I'm happy with the drive. I mean, I feel like I've had a couple of wins on the oval stuff, but I feel like I actually sort of mastered the whole deal tonight to get it done instead of get lucky. So I'm happy with that. I think that's the best drive I've done on the ovals yet.
Yeah, it was a bit of a masterclass tonight, and saying that for somebody that's relatively new to ovals, that is a big compliment I can give you right there. You absolutely nailed that one, strategy and all. How hard is it to be racing and preserving everything so much? Because we saw you dropping down to, I think it was about P7, sort of mid race, and you just we saw that you had the pace, obviously lining the car up on the front row of the grid in qualifying, but when you're running to those numbers, how hard is it not to race everybody else, to sort of keep yourself in check almost?
It is hard. And I mean, the first stint, we obviously did it right and we had really good speed. But by that point, by the caution and everyone bunched back up, everyone could see what we were doing, like what I was doing. So all of a sudden, everyone was on the same line. So I wasn't expecting to have an advantage on tyres in the second run because everyone else started running the same sort of lines as me. So and Skirley was doing the same sort of thing in the first stint. He just went a bit harder a little earlier. So, I knew he'd be hard to beat. And, shout out to him because when I caught him, even with the pace advantage, when he did try and hang around the outside, I had a real meal of it trying to get past him and I was using my stuff up and didn't get it done. So, I mean, if he didn't have a fuel issue, that might have actually been a real tough ask to get that job done. So, it is hard. Like I was worried at the start about getting run over and worried about getting buried in traffic, and then you got to use up your tyres to get back through late. But we were lucky. We stayed close enough and didn't lose too much time. It worked out perfectly tonight. But I mean, if that caution comes out 15 laps into a run and I'm in P7 with great tyres, but then we got to stop, I've lost all that track position. I got to earn it back in a sprint to the finish. So it's a risk, and I was really nervous about a late caution there, but tonight we did get lucky and didn't get one, and the strategy was perfect.
How crucial was that first caution for you?
I didn't want it. I mean, we had a pace advantage. We were running towards, green flag pit stops, and I'd got past Skurlock and had gapped everyone else, and then started to pull a little bit of a gap on him. And I figured that I obviously had good tyre condition, and these cars, you can't really turn that around. If you've got bad tyres or worse tyres than another guy, you don't sort of turn that around too easily and then suddenly have better tyres. So I expected to just keep pulling away off the back of that first stint and build a gap to work with for a bit of strategy for the green flag stop. So I didn't really want to see that first caution because we had that air advantage over the other cars. I was a bit nervous with the restart, to be honest. But I mean, it worked out all right. In my road stuff, fuel savers are something that I'm pretty good at. So I was confident about the strategy, but there's so many things that can go wrong that I was certainly nervous.
Well, you may have been nervous inside, but you did not show it out on track. Your fourth win this season in the Xfinity Thunder Series here in ANZCAR on FGM eCast. Another great win and just improving every week. Congratulations again, Brenton Hobson. And as usual, shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Shout out to SSR. Jaden wasn't in here tonight. I'm not sure why, but didn't have him on the grid with me tonight, so that was a bit of a shame. But shout out to Synergy Sim Racing and the sponsors we've got: JK Signs, Smith and Sons, Dove Photo, DGD Customs, and Aftershock PC, along with all the others. So shout out to all them, and obviously to you guys for the broadcast. It's really cool to be able to go back and have a look, and you'll learn a lot from watching the broadcast because you miss so much when you're actually in the car, which is cool. And you do a great job. And ANZCAR as well. I mean, a race like tonight is a perfect example of why I'm loving this series and have no intentions of going away, because to be able to run green flag stints and get green flag stops and things like that and have that strategy element play out is something that, you don't get in official oval racing all that much. So it's a great series. All the guys in here do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks to everyone.
No, we're glad to have you here. Congratulations again on your Cup debut last week as well, P2. Hopefully we'll see you in the Cup in future as well, a little bit more often, but we're enjoying your work here. We're loving all the stuff here in the Xfinity series on Thunder. Congratulations on another victory, and again, what a really good drive tonight, Brenton.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Brenton Hobson there, getting the W again in the Xfinity series, Thunder series here on FGM eCast. Another great drive, and we're going to be back here at Atlanta tomorrow, Stuart.
Yeah, we've got 130 laps here tomorrow with the Cup Series, so that's going to be hopefully as exciting as this one. One stop there, not possible, I don't think. But depending on how the cautions fall, as you hear tonight from Hobbo, he was happy to keep going before that first caution came out. Not surprising, as he said, because he was gapping Skurlock with that early save that he had done. But a fantastic drive from him. Just shows you that there's another level when Michael Skurlock says that he's got some work to do. That definitely means that you're doing a good job, because he is no easy driver to beat. And got to echo Skurly's call there as well. Great to hear the energy from Lockie Capel. A breath of fresh air into the series, as have been a number of the new drivers. Got to give a shout out to Ruben Phelps, up 15 spots tonight. Matty Ray as well, up 15. Pariana Stakis with 9. And Norm Clark jumping into the top 10 as well with 5 from him. So some good drives throughout the field, just showing how strong and competitive it can be in this Thunder series. We've got 3 rounds to go from here, and looking forward to tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting race. We hope you can join us there tomorrow. From everybody that's joined us tonight, we have to say a big thank you to you all. And if you could hit that like and, of course, the subscribe button, it really helps us out. It helps us reach a larger audience and helps, of course, keep you involved and lets you know when the races are happening, so you can hopefully catch more in the future. But thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight.
Absolutely, Carl, and yourself included. And we'll be back tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Slightly later start on the Thursday night as we get qualifying out of the way before we jump on. So we'll see you from 8 p.m. tomorrow night on FGM eCast, your e-place for pace. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Carl, and we'll see you tomorrow night.